Hey, everyone. Welcome to the CNC Side Hustle Show, number 11, which happens to be the season finale. Yes, this is the last episode of the CNC Side Hustle Show, season number 1. We're going to take a little break. We're going to eat some food, talk about the show.
We're going to see if we get picked up for season 2.
Yeah, we're going to see if NBC picks us up for season 2. But that was kind of our plan all along. This isn't a spur of the moment thing. We actually planned 10 episodes, but Andy, they can't stop me. I was like, I need to get one more in. So this is actually a bonus episode, but I couldn't be more excited. We're going to do something a little bit different because it is the finale. We have not one, but we have 2 guests with us tonight. We have Garrett from IDC Woodcraft and Kyle from Learn Your CNC. I'll bring them on here in a second. But rumor is we're going to have to straighten this out. I don't know. But rumor is they don't like each other. So this should be really interesting. And they're probably, hopefully, throwing things at me right now. I'm just kidding, by the way. But if you're new here, if you haven't watched this show before, welcome. I'm Andy. And we started this show to spark ideas, maybe learn something new, but share some laughs, and just have a good time. And I want this to be light, but I want it to be beneficial, and I want it to be inspiring. My number one goal with this entire show, the whole premise that we built this show on from the very beginning, is that it would motivate you, inspire you to run out into the shop after this show and create something you're proud of. So that's our goal here, and that's what we're going to do. Thank you for being here. So I've got one, before I bring Garrett and Kyle on real quick, I've got one big announcement. I was just telling them about it backstage. We are super pumped. Man, I'm a mess. We are super pumped about this. Last week, I introduced the CNC Kickstart to you. I've kind of been talking about it a little bit. Our big announcement was 2 weeks ago. But we've got a date. I told you I'd keep you in the loop. We've got a date. July 28th. This summer, the CNC Kickstart is going to launch. If you're wondering what the CNC Kickstart is, you can go back and watch that episode, but I can tell you right here as well. It is a course that helps you figure out a workflow. And I built this course on one question that I kept getting over and over again is I want a predictable workflow that is repeatable and gets me predictable results. And so that's what we built. And I think we've done a great job of that. It's 8 modules, but 7 projects of all different caliber of projects, different sizes, different materials, different bits. It covers the whole gambit. And the really cool thing about this is we've designed this around our super simple CNC workflow, registered trademark. Not really, but it would be cool. It sounds like we should trademark that. But we built this around the super simple CNC workflow that me and my team came up with. So it works with any machine, any software, any project. I know it's a big claim, but that's how we built it. And I think we've done a very good job of it. So there's a wait list sign up. If you want to be the first to know about it, you can jump on that list and we'll keep you up to date on that. So without further ado, let's bring on our very, very special guests, my dear friends, Garrett and Kyle. There's Garrett and there's Kyle.
What's going on? I can't believe you put me on the same show with Kyle. Can't stand that guy.
Jeez. Every time I see this guy, I don't know what to say.
I know, right? It was a risky move, but I thought it would generate enough buzz in the media that it would be worth it,
I think we're going to make headlines tomorrow.
Yeah. Move out of the way, whatever they're talking about these days. I don't know. But we're gonna be in the news cycle tomorrow. So that's awesome. No, thank you guys for doing this. So I wanted to bring you back. You have both been guests on season 1. And the really cool thing about it is we brought back our crowd favorites. You two, the most people tuned in to see you two. So I'm like, we need to have Garrett and Kyle back on the show together and see what happens here with this dynamic duo. Now, I know you've been on a lot of lives together, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But never with me as the leader, which is really scary.
This is. I'm afraid where this is going tonight.
That's great. It's great. So how are you guys?
Doing great. I'm getting ready to head out of town from go up to Chicago for the weekend.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
go jump in the lake up there.
Nice. Lake Michigan's a nice lake. Yeah. I'm familiar with that. Not Chicago really, but I grew up a half an hour from Lake Michigan.
Did you?
Yeah. Beautiful lake. Kyle, what are you into, man? I saw that you recently were a world traveler.
Yep, doing lots of traveling, doing lots of lives today. This is my third live today.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
Shoot.
definitely, this is my big live day of the week, I guess.
Well, man, we appreciate you fitting us into your schedule here.
Anytime.
Appreciate you.
Three in a day. That's you're on a good roll, dude.
You are.
Oh,
You can't stop now.
No.
Just hit them back to back, all one day.
Knock them out.
Not really back to back. At least I had a little break in between.
Nice. So let's jump. I always like this time. Let's jump in the chat here and see who we've got in the house tonight. We've got anybody that you recognize. Go ahead and shout them out. If they come over, I know you guys.
I see familiar names.
Yeah,
a couple
do
of
you?
my students.
Nice.
I see Michael Mosaic. He's one of our trainers on Learn Your CNC.
Yeah, welcome, Michael. Yeah. I've heard of him. Never met him, but
I'm seeing several names fly by. People that come on my show, and we've sent product to.
Sweet. Yeah, Kevin. There's Kevin Rich. Kevin is a big supporter of me, and he's really active in our Discord community. There, appreciate you,
Cody
Kevin.
from Jenny Bits in there.
Oh, did you see? Yeah, Cody. He just texted me right before we went on. He's a little ways up, but yeah, Cody Elkins from Jenny Bits. Great guy. I want to have him on the show sometime. I've mentioned that too. Mike Manuel. Appreciate you being here. Sweet.
Some of the poor guys in the chat, this is the third time watching me today. I
Yeah.
see their names.
I don't
They see you more than their wives or husbands.
right. That's awesome. Third time I've seen them today. You've hung out with them all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Are you taking tomorrow off then?
Yeah, no lives tomorrow. Thankfully.
No lives tomorrow. That's great.
I see Cutting It Close in there.
Awesome. Welcome, Ryan. Yeah. Well, that's cool. We've got a great show planned for tonight, and something that's really, really thank you guys for this. Both of you have thrown something into our giveaway, our Spindle Spin giveaway for later on, and I've redone the board. Usually we do this, and I put all of our names on there equal amount of times, and I'll explain more of the prizes later. But then I had one extra spot, and I'm like, you know what? They won't mind. We're going to have all. And not everybody wins, but one person wins all the prizes,
Nice.
which is going to be really cool. Yeah, so don't feel like you're like, oh, crap. Garrett's over there like, is Andy going to give away? He can't give away 200 beast bits.
You know what? Girls give away whatever they want on our show. So it's
no. So that we have three prizes tonight. One from me, one from Kyle, and one from Garrett. And so we will do that later. But you got to be present to win. And it's actually coming up a little earlier this time. We always mix things around, kind of like Garrett does on his live. You never know when it's going to come, but you have to be present to win. Yeah. So be sure to stick around to check that out. But hey, how about we jump into our first? I'm really excited about this segment, by the way. Let's jump into our first segment. Hey, welcome to Fails and Fixes. A little bit different twist this time, but this is what's going to happen. I'm going to present a fail scenario to Garrett and to Kyle, different scenarios, and they're going to, on the spot, how they would troubleshoot and how they would fix that fail. All right, so I want the audience to think about you're in the shop and this scenario, or maybe you don't have a CNC and you're just looking to get started. Welcome, by the way. Glad you're here. And just think about these different scenarios, common scenarios. Okay, Garrett, I have you first, okay?
All right, let's fire away.
All right, I'm going to read this. Okay. Garrett, you're running a clean profile pass on a sign using a brand new downcut bit.
Okay.
You've zeroed carefully. Your bit's zeroed. Your clamps, your hold downs are solid. Nothing's moving. But the the cut starts off perfect. Okay. 5 minutes in, as the cut progresses, something feels off. You notice the bit cutting deeper than it should be.
The good old bit slip routine, huh? That's just going to sneak in on me, huh?
All right. So how, as an operator, and you see this happening, take us through your thoughts. Take us through the first things that you think from a beginner standpoint. Like why is this going deeper?
Yeah. So from the beginner standpoint, because I remember the first time that happened to me, it's like, what the heck is going on? And you see your carve getting ruined right before your eyes and you don't understand it. And so you troubleshoot, you're trying to figure this out going, you just don't understand it. And it's actually pretty, it's not something that we think of. The most common reason is because there's sawdust in your collet. So I got a collet right here. So you've got an ER collet right here. And you can get sawdust up into the collet in between the bit right here, and it acts like little ball bearings. And that the forces that the bit is resisting because it's trying to cut through wood slowly is pushing that bit backwards. But because of the dynamics and geometry of the bit, it's starting to pull itself down as it's spinning backwards. Excuse me. That's the number one reason.
Yep.
The next reason I've seen this enough is people don't slip their bits in far enough. They're trying to get way too much out of that bit. And what happens, even if your bit survives that, is you'll deform your collet on the inside. So that would be a worn collet, or you've lost the trueness of your collet. And finally, would be generally the worn collet. But if you don't have a good router bit, right? You're buying cheapo ones. The accuracy of your shank is supposed to be can be too small, and it doesn't matter how much you tighten that thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing, don't ever over tighten your collet because that causes wear as well.
There you go. Yeah, I remember, Garrett. You this was a real scenario when I first got started in 2017. I was like, oh, the G code's messed up. Oh, this machine is what is it doing? It's not supposed to be doing that. And I beat my head against a brick wall trying to figure it out because I didn't know about sawdust in the collet at that point. And it's super frustrating. Something so simple and causes so much frustration. So
yeah, that's like the number one rule. Every time you change a bit, you always clean your collet. Take it out, blow it out, up in the spindle too. Blow that out.
I can add one more point to that too.
Go for it.
Sometimes people run their bits too slow, like the feed rate too slow, which heats up the bit and then heats up the collet. And most people don't know that's made out of like a spring steel. And if it gets heated and too much and too many times, it'll actually lose that springness to it and cause it to wear out as well. That's a replaceable item. Most people don't know that, and they keep it for the life of the machine, never replace the collet.
Yeah.
So
something that people won't necessarily realize on this is the inside of collets, you don't want them mirror smooth because that decreases the friction. So the constant real over tightening all the time, that starts to create that mirror smoothness. And then it's time to replace the collet.
There we go. Cool. All right, Kyle, you're up next. You ready?
I'm ready. Ready as I'll ever be.
All right,
Kyle.
All right, Kyle. Moving over to software into your wheelhouse a little bit. I'm not being unfair here. But okay, so you've previewed the toolpath, and it looks good. In Vectric, you previewed it. You ran a simulation. Everything looks good. You hit start. You're at the machine now. You hit start and walk away. Suddenly, a loud bang. Okay? The machine flew over the top of a clamp during a rapid move and smashed it. Ruined your clamp and your bit. That's a scenario. What can we do to avoid that or keep that from happening?
Okay. I was glad you didn't ask what would I do after that, because I'd probably just pull my hair out and shut the machine down and walk out for the day. But to avoid that, there's several different ways. One nice thing, if you're using Vectric, in version 12, they came out with a new update where you can make keep out zones. And basically you put a box around where your clamp would be and say, don't go here. And it will go around that spot rather than running into it. The option I prefer is to not have clamps at all and use a different hold down method, something that's going to be less intrusive to your design. But sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you do need that specialty clamp or something. It does depend on what you're cutting. I've used many different hold downs, from double-sided tape, tape and super glue, vacuum tables. I've used everything. And double-sided tape, I used to love it, and then I hated it because I couldn't find a good tape, and then I found a good tape. I use that X-Fasten, works really well. And I always go back to that double-sided tape or the tape and super glue method. I've used that for a long time. But sometimes you do need that clamping pressure. Sometimes I'll either use wooden clamps, 3D printed clamps, something that's not going to ruin your bit if you run into it. Try to avoid metal clamps if you can. I actually just talked about this in my live earlier today, and we're talking about different methods for clamping with less likely to damage your CNC or your bits.
Yeah, or both. I mean, avoid the double whammy at all costs, like breaking a bit and a clamp, or like, if you break a bit, that sucks. But if you break a clamp, if you ruin a clamp, that sucks too. But if you break both, that's just a bad day. And your reaction is you shut off the machine and walk out the door is probably accurate.
Yeah. But then you also have the possibility of the project moving in that case.
Yeah, and it ruins your project. So it's really a triple whammy. Yeah.
The
The
other thing is be careful walking away from your machine.
Yeah, that's a great
Especially
point.
if you're new. You want to keep an eye on that. And I've seen so many bad things happen when people walk away and leave their machine.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. Anything else? Any other ways?
One of the things
also.
Go
ahead.
One of the things I'll mentally create a line. So let's just say this is the project here, and this is the start point here. I mentally create a keep out zone from the max areas of the line from that start point of the bit. And if that clamp is in the way of that, then I have to move the clamp.
Yeah. Kyle, what was you gonna? What were you the one you thought of?
Oh, I was gonna say, especially when you're new, if you have an emergency stop on your machine, one thing I always did when I first started with CNCs, you're really nervous hitting that start button. I keep my hand on the emergency stop, and if I see about to crash into something, I hurry up and press it and try to save the day before.
Yes.
You have a big issue.
Yes. One that came to my mind, Kyle, you can talk about it probably better than me, but do you ever mess with like retract height? Like safe retract height?
Yep, you can adjust that as well. It depends on the size of your clamp. So if you have a really big clamp that's sticking high up, sometimes you don't have that enough Z clearance. But if you have a clamp that's not too thick, you can adjust your safe Z height in Vectric or whatever software you're using, and that will help it. So at least retracts high enough to where it's not going to crash into it, even if it does go over top of it. But sometimes they have a handle or something on them that makes it stick up even higher, and you got to be careful.
Yeah, good advice. So I literally came up with these. These are all things literally that like the first week of CNC I experienced.
Real world first-hand experience as someone who's brand new. Yep. Well, I think we've all run into that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, all of these.
All right, Garrett, I got another one more for you here.
Let's do it.
All right. You're cutting out a batch of maple signs using a downcut bit, and after a few passes, you smell it before you see it. No, you didn't fart. It's burnt wood. the bit is leaving burn marks on your maple, on your signs. What are your first thoughts? What are you checking?
Okay, so it's cutting. It's cutting good at first, but then I'm starting to pick up that smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a couple scenarios that can be going on here. The first one is going to be for me is the speed and feed ratio. So in this case, I'm going to think that my feed rate would be probably too low, right? The good visual sign is if you're getting real dusty sawdust. Yep. So it's going to cut for a while, but what it's going to be doing is heating up that bit as it's doing it. That bit is going to be, several hundred degrees. And then that bit can no longer absorb heat as fast as it's creating it. So it's going to be pushing that into the wood. All cutting takes work, and work creates heat. And so that's one of the scenarios that's going to happen. Another one is the bit is getting dulled up. It's just starting to dull. And a bit will dull because it gets too hot and it loses its edge, or it's just seeing the end of its life. No bit lasts forever. Yep. Another one is if you're getting pitch buildup, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. If you get pitch buildup, that's going to start to interfere with the clean cutting edges. And that's why you want to clean your bits periodically with something like Simple Green. I tell you the one that I have seen, it was a little while ago, but it was a whole rash. People were emailing me, and it was because they got the brand new machine and their spindles were running backwards. They were wired backwards, and they didn't understand that. I finally had to call the machine company and said, "You're sending machines with spindles running backwards, guys." They fixed that right away. But,
wow.
Yeah, but it's generally the feed and the speed.
Okay.
One of the other things that we don't think about, and I'm going to start getting these numbers into the data that we provide, is the surface feet per minute. So surface feet per minute, let's say you have a quarter-inch cutter turning at 10,000 RPMs. It's got a surface feet. I had ChatGPT calculate it out. It was like 635 feet per minute. And that's how far that outer edge of the bit is traveling over 1 minute, 635 feet. The same bit would be the surfacing bit 4 times this surface it's covering in that amount of time. So 2,600. So we have to compensate with the spindle speed relative to the size of the bit to keep the surface feet per minute within the proper range.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sense.
It's a little more advanced.
So. Yeah. That's spinning faster at the outer edge than it is at the shank. Yeah.
Well, it's from the quarter-inch. This they're still spinning the same RPM.
Well, you're right. Yeah.
Distance the outer edge covers over that period of time.
Yeah. There you go.
Can I share a little first-hand experience from this?
Let's do it.
So, my old job that I got a job running a CNC machine, big, giant, 5-foot by 12-foot, multi-spindle, ATC, vacuum table, the whole 9 yards. And it's my second week on the job. I barely know how to run the machine. They just taught me how to do it. I'm running it by myself for the first time, cutting some solid poplar. And I have a down cut bit cutting. It's almost 2-inch thick poplar. And I was going too slow. The bit was dull. And it was down cut, so all the chips were putting into the cut. Jeez. And to add to that, the vacuum table was sucking the air down. And what I didn't know is those chip buildup with the heat, start a little fire in there. Ooh. The vacuum table added oxygen and fueled the fire, but you couldn't see the fire because it was going below the table instead of above the table. So I didn't know it until a hole got in the vacuum table and it started like screaming from the air leakage through the table and burned a hole right through the table. It was something I've never experienced before, but
then you got fired?
Nope. Honestly, I was a little worried, but the boss just laughed and said, "All right, just fix it." But I was lucky at that point. But one thing I never realized, those of you that may have vacuum tables, be careful with vacuum tables. They actually would make the fire worse and you can't see it. Wow. And even suck the smoke down too, so you don't even see smoke.
Huh. So you could be done with
one and only time.
And before you know it, at midnight, it finally just turns to a full-blown
I still have the piece. I kept the piece where the fire started. I never experienced that after that, but that was a good reminder to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to fix this kind of problem, though, the first thing you want to do is, if you can, get your spindle turned down or increase your feed rate.
Yeah.
But if your bit is probably getting too hot at this point, so you probably want to shut the machine down and let everything cool down, because that heat's dumping into your spindle too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I love sharing these stories. When I remember this as clear as day. I was in the basement, my basement shop of my house. That's where I started. And CNC was in the corner. My Shapeoko 3XXL. This is 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And some friends. I had my machine for maybe a couple months. Wasn't long. And again, complete noob. Like, I was a complete noob. And they wanted me to cut something out for them. They wanted to make a custom. It was like actually a wedding gift, and I was telling them that I was making things on the CNC, and I had them come down. They're like, "Can we watch it?" And they're like, "Sure." I said, "Sure." And so I remember they come down, and it was so loud. So I had a DeWalt spindle, or DeWalt palm router as the spindle, right? And I had that thing turned up to 6, which is like 30,000 RPMs. And I was moving at like 40 inches per minute. Oh, and the thing was just screaming through this hardwood. And like everybody was like I still remember covering their ears. And yeah, I mean, the wood was burning and everything. And I was just like, they're looking at me. Everybody's like nervous. And I'm like, I don't know any better. Like, this is normal,
When I was first doing it, I had the Makita trim router on mine. I ran it at 6 all the time until I realized these bits were just getting beat to heck.
Faster is better, right?
No.
No.
I like a video that you put out where you talked about it's not about speed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It is when it comes to marketing.
It is.
But when it comes to actually using it, it's a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, at least for me, when I try to increase the feed and go faster and cut those run times down, I end up spending 5 times the amount of time sanding. If I would have just like taken a good approach, thought about it, used proper speeds and feeds, proper bit for the material, and thought about the scenario, I would have end up saving a lot of time. But I'm just like, let's go faster. Override.
Yep.
I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I learned the hard way. All right, Kyle, I got one more for you here. This one, I think, I just segued in perfectly to this, and I think people are going to be really interested about this one, or in this one. So here's the scenario. So you designed a simple name sign, and expect it to take 20 to 30 minutes, like just a letter cutout of Andy, right? Shouldn't take that long. It's on a smaller machine, slower approach, but your software estimates 4 hours. And you know that like, there's no way this would take 4 hours. So you assume it's a bug, but when you hit go, it really does take 4 hours. What can we look at changing? What could be going wrong? How do you approach this?
I love this question.
So the first thing I would say is I would never know how long it would actually take because I wouldn't wait 4 hours for that sign.
Touche.
But once I started it and noticed how slow it was going, I would know right away something's not right. So what I would do is stop the cut, check with the software, and most likely what's happening is either your feed rates are not where they should be. Could be the feed rate and the plunge rate. So the feed rate is your X and Y axis, your plunge rate is your Z axis. Check all 3 of those. Probably have to bump those up in most cases because that would be the main cause. The other thing I would say, 2 more things I would check is depth per pass. If you have a very shallow depth per pass and you have a deep cut, it's going to take forever. So increase that if your machine will handle it. And then your step over. You have a small step over, it's going to take forever. You want to do a reasonable step over where you get the speed, but also get a surface quality you want. It depends on what type of sign you're making and what kind of surface finish you want and what bit you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be the main things I would check. And then there would be a few other things you would check into. Even your safety Z height, like we were talking about before, if that's set too high, it would actually take a long time to travel up, move over, and travel all the way back down every time it goes to a new spot of the cut. I've worked on a job. One of my customers had a really long carve time. All we did was change the safety Z height from, he had it set to like 4 inches, and we lowered it down to 1/4 inch. It saved almost 6 hours off the estimated time. It was crazy, just that little number difference, how much time it would save. So a couple things I would check there, but that would be the main things I would go to first.
Okay. Just I saw as you were talking here, jumped in or someone shared a couple shares in the chat. Too many nodes.
Yes, that would be the last thing. Not the last thing, but if all the other things look good, I have a video on my YouTube channel as well that points this out. If you have too many nodes on your design, that slows down your cutting time in most cases. Not all the time. Some post-processor will ignore those nodes, but most of the time, if you're seeing a lot of like small little movements on your machine, it's typically that you have a lot of nodes. And if you don't know what nodes are, they're just kind of the points along your lines, and you can clean those up. There's a tool in Vectric called the curve fit tool you can clean those up with. But basically, I just think of that as a bus stop. And if you have 20 stops to make, it's going to take you longer than 2 stops.
Yeah. That's great.
I don't have anything to add on top of that. You guys just covered it all.
Sweet. Well, cool. One thing I did want to mention real quick is I didn't say this. I wrote it in the chat, but I didn't say it. I usually say it. Your questions in the chat we're not ignoring them. We save them all. We do a little unique around here. We save them all for our rapid fire Q&A session that's coming up here soon. So we've got a moderator in the background queuing those up. So get your questions in for Garrett or Kyle, and we won't stop the show to answer them necessarily, but they'll all be in one segment coming up here soon. So just want to make sure you knew that we weren't ignoring you. All right. So it is time to introduce the Spindle Spin. Look at all of our beautiful names on there.
Look at
that. So we're doing a little bit, if you've been here for all the other shows, we're doing it a little bit differently tonight. As far as prizes go, we've got names on here, and because we each are contributing a prize for the giveaway. So Kyle is Kyle. Actually, do you want to talk about it? I'll let you talk about it.
Sure. So talk about my giveaway is, as you heard before, I said I was doing a bunch of lives today, and then you guys probably go to my YouTube channel and say I don't do any lives there. That's because I have a private community where we do Q&As. It's more of like a Zoom style where we're all on the screen like we are now, and we have questions that you guys ask every week. And myself, and we also have Michael Mosaic, who's also in the chat. He does our Tuesday live. I do the Thursday live, and we do a Q&A style where we answer all your Vectric and CNC related questions. And then we also do a live project lesson, which I just wrapped up before this call. Every week I do a brand new project, teach you how to do it from start to finish. And all those have replays. We have a private community. We have monthly challenges with prizes, all this stuff going on to really get you and take your skills to the next level with Vectric in a very tight-knit community style. And that is my giveaway. I'm giving away 1 month free access to that. So anybody that gets that will get in there for a month and try it out.
Sweet.
Invaluable.
Sweet. So if we land on Kyle tonight, that is what you win. If we land on Garrett tonight, Garrett, you want to talk about it?
Sure, yeah. So we're giving away our big bad beast, the 1/4 inch roughing bit that is designed to really clear out material before you actually do your finished carve. If you're doing lots of pocketing and what have you, then you know that can take. There you go. There's
I got a beast.
there. Looking close at that thing, Andy? What's that thing look like to you?
Well, it looks like a beast. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
No, so I think Garrett, I shared. I don't know if if your team member shared it with you, but I shared a project a couple weeks ago where I used this to do some roughing before I did I used the tapered ball nose in a 3D project. And so that was the first time I really put the beast to use in walnut. And I've shared with you, I don't have a ton of experience with it, but it cuts like no other like roughing bit that I've seen as far as like the chips that it produced. Like the chip breaker, it's just it takes a little bit getting used to, but it's super sharp. Super sharp.
Yeah, it's a lot of people get nervous as to how fast you can run that.
Yeah.
To give you an example, so he used the term chip breaker, so that's another term for it, chip breaker, rougher, and the idea with this is you can do it at a much larger step over, much faster feed rate, and a deeper plunge if you want to. To give you an idea of how fast I've been able to run it, I did a 1 inch deep piece of walnut, did 3/4 inch deep, 7 inches long by 4 inches wide, and knocked that out in a minute. That whole pocket, 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch deep.
Yeah.
Right. One depth. And just beep, 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 beep.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
that's
it's beast.
Cool.
1/4 inch beast.
Yeah. Cool. So if we land on Garrett tonight, you will win one person will win a beast. And Andy, we actually had a grand prize winner last time. Yeah, last time. But I'll be giving away the CNC Side Hustle course. So I've talked about that on here, but taking you from creating sellable projects all the way through the marketing. And it's really the flagship course of ANDYBIRD builds. And so we will be giving it, if we land on Andy, they will win that. If we land on all, not everybody wins these. We're not Ellen or another talk show where like Oprah where 300 people win. You know what I mean? We don't have those kind of sponsors yet, but if they're out there, we're willing to take them.
Bring them on.
But no, that one person will win all three of those prizes. So the way this is going to work is Eric, who's running the show next to me here, he is going to open it up and type in hashtag ANDYBIRD builds in the chat to enter. So anybody or everybody can enter. You can only enter once. You can put it in there as many times as you want, but it only counts as one entry. But you got to write it the right way. Hashtag, all one word, hashtag ANDYBIRD builds. And you'll have one segment to get your names in. And then we will randomly pick one of you from the chat that entered. And you get to spin the Spindle Spin. All right.
These are always fun. I love doing the giveaways.
Yeah, me too. So make sure you jump in. And we're gonna head to while you're getting your hashtag ANDYBIRD builds in there. We're gonna head to our next segment. All right, welcome to Guess the Price, which is our audience's favorite. We've had this in every episode but one.
All but one.
Oh, wow. And so we've mixed it up a little bit here and there. But how this is going to go is Eric, who's running the show. If you hear a random voice, Eric talk.
That's me.
That's Eric sitting literally right next to me. We can hold hands. He's just off.
Hey,
there he is.
Oh.
But he's putting, if you wonder how all this stuff is happening so seamlessly, it's Eric. So he has picked, how many projects you got for us this week?
We got 5 this week.
All right. So he's picked 5 projects from the internet, some popular ones, some not so popular ones. And what we're going to do is we're going to guess the price. It's just a fun game about pricing, and we'll share, there's little nuggets here and there along the way. But go ahead and get your answers in the chat, and Eric's going to put the first one up on the screen.
Okay, here we go. The first one on screen. Let me get you guys lined up there. So this is a candy dispenser. It is made out of walnut. It does have oak dowels. I don't know how big it is, but that is a 16-inch mason jar, which is on the top of it there. So it's a little bit bigger than a mason jar.
Sweet. Cool project. Looks like we've got, Eric's listed it out. What do you think? What's your guess, Garrett and Kyle? What's the first number that comes to your head?
I would put this one at 60, probably right around $60 to $70
Okay.
on this one. If you're marketing to kids, for kids, two parents, I'd be going up to maybe $80.
Okay. All right. Kyle, you got any thoughts?
My first thought was 80.
Okay.
It looks like all walnut, some good quality material there. And there's quite a bit of work there as far as cutting it out and finishing it and assembling all together. So to make it worth time, if you're producing these, a lot of these, probably 80, but if you're doing it one-off, maybe you want to charge a little bit more for your time, but depends on how many you're doing at a time, I would say.
Yeah. There's definitely some assembly here, right? Some sanding. Although I think you can reduce the amount of sanding other than the edges. Sanding the edges are always the hardest part. Cool. All right. We've got it all over the place. 75 came to mind. That was the first number that jumped in my head. So, all right, Eric, what do we got here?
Yeah, I don't think I can get through all these guys' guesses. So
that's
sorry.
fine.
A lot of them coming through.
There's a lot of guesses. We see your guesses.
We see you there.
Yeah.
The final answer is
6250. I think that's fair. That's fair.
Pretty close. The thing with this, there looks like a lot of labor in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, we forgot to factor in one thing. Is the candy included or not?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, big one.
That's like a $10 bag at M&M's.
They definitely include M&M's.
I'll just order a bunch of IDC Woodcraft bits and fill it with that.
There you go. Yeah, I love that.
Some free M&Ms.
Yeah, it looks like a couple people are saying low end, too low. I mean, we don't disagree. I think, especially made out of walnut. This is one of those things where it doesn't have to be made out of walnut. Why not? Like, this is one of those items, like if you're going with like an heirloom, like grandma gift, and there's sentiment there, you definitely need to charge more. And I think you can make it out of walnut, but I think you could make this out of, a cheaper wood and still accomplish what you're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah.
I have a hot take I can give on this too. And that is, so if you're selling these to make money, like a lot of guys are, you're not going to price it that low. But this could be just one random guy just made this for fun and decided to try to sell it. And maybe price it real low just to sell it and get rid of it. And they may never make one of these again. So the market's going to see that, oh, it sold for 62, and people think, oh, I got to price mine low to compete with that. When this guy may never sell one of these ever again. He may not even do another CNC project again. You never know. Right. So that's the thing with the prices in the market. You never know what that story is from that person that made it and selling it for that price.
Great points.
Yeah, I was going to say this is more like a labor of love type of project.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it's cool. Let's see what the next one's got. What do we got there?
Let's see what it is.
Okay, next product we have is a bath caddy. This is a 32-inch long piece of walnut. Obviously, you could do this with a router bit, but man, you can knock out 1,000 of these with a CNC.
Yeah, you definitely could. All right, we've seen this like a bath caddy. Does the bathtub come with it?
Bathtub not included.
Okay.
What about the wine and candle?
Yeah, right. What about? Yeah, never mind. Let's see. We've got. I bet there's someone in. We've got a big enough crowd here tonight. I bet there's someone in the audience that has made these.
I know my wife has one similar, and she loves it.
Okay. All right. Did you make it, Kyle?
No, unfortunately, she already had that one. I didn't make it.
All right. So what pops in your head?
So what popped in my head immediately was $200, right? Okay. But it's to market it to the right person to get that $200 out of it. It's otherwise you're probably going to get maybe $60-$70 for it.
Yeah, I was thinking more on that low range too. It does depend on what material you're using, good quality hardwood, and how good of a price you can get it. I know me being in the Northeast, I can get material pretty cheap, but I know a lot of guys down in Texas, California, Nevada, wherever in the desert, it's harder to find these good wood that is good price. So that plays a big factor in as well.
Right.
But I would say, I would say probably 60, 75, somewhere in that range, same as Garrett was saying there.
Yeah, to me, this is one of those products that, so the image says everything, right? And if you create the scenario, the emotional value to it, the emotional value, the higher the emotional value, the better. So you create a romantic scene around this thing, and maybe add in maybe a little candle with the product, right? Then you're starting to really kind of pump that up, and that's where you can get that $200, and you're hitting the right market.
Yeah. That pops in my head, Garrett, with this scene. Just looking at the picture, it's higher end. So we need to make sure we're getting this in front of, affluent communities, higher end, customers that are going to value this. And really, you're selling the feeling, you're selling the time that they get to spend in there. You're not selling a piece of wood with holes in it. You're selling that relaxing night in the bathtub reading a book. So yeah, that is worth a lot more than the piece of wood. Yeah.
One thing I would add too, we have CNCs. I always tell people, don't make straight lines like this. If you have a CNC, make some curves in there. That's something that somebody can't copy as easy if they don't have a CNC. So really use that as a competitive advantage.
Really good point. Give it character.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Oh yeah.
Did you guess?
I didn't. But I mean, I kind of guessed. I think this is probably going for $75, but I'm with Garrett. Like to the right demographic. I think this is a $175 product.
Okay, here we go. Final answer is
drum roll.
109. Good for them.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Nice. I think that's great. I think
works.
Yeah, that person is making money at 109.
Yes, for sure.
You can even get wood like that for free some places and turn it into one of these and make a good profit.
Yeah.
You know what I like about what you do here, Andy, with this is you give people the ideas. Here's something we can make. That's really cool. You can make it for your wife or your husband, whatever.
Yeah.
Something
for sure.
On Etsy if you're on Etsy.
Inspiration. All right, here's the next one.
Okay, our next one is this floor chair. It is roughly 16 inches by 20 inches by 16 inches high. It is made out of bamboo, and it has a vegetable-based finish, is what they said.
Like tomatoes? Or that's a fruit. Like onions?
Like vegetable oil, but a finish.
Okay. I mean, is bamboo technically a vegetable? I don't know. No, it's a grass, actually. It's a grass, yeah. All right, get your guesses in here. And while you're getting your guesses in, if you haven't entered our giveaway yet, that we're going to do right after this segment, hashtag ANDYBIRD You jump in the giveaway here, and we're going to randomly select one person to win 1 or 3 really cool prizes. But what do you got on this chair, guys? I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I want to know who they're marketing here because that plays a big factor in the price. Because I have no idea what they're going to use this for. Maybe as like a religion thing, sit on the floor, or it's for the right person that's worth a lot. But for me, I might not see the value in this floor chair.
So with the site, just so you guys know, they actually sold tables as well too. I only did the chair to start, but they have tables that are also very low, almost like coffee tables, but they're set up for like 4 to 6 people. And so it's almost like that sitting on a low beanbag with your shoes off, kind of Japanese style feel.
Yeah.
But
I've made one of those tables before. Someone asked me to make, I forgot the name. There's a name, a Japanese type table, where they typically I thought they sat on the floor. But Yeah, Kyle, I'm with you. My thought is like, I don't want to offend anybody.
So I would say,
$20.
yeah, I would say for something like this, if I had a full size 4x8 machine, you can nest a lot of this parts in a full sheet and cut a lot out. So you can get your profit margins good if you put a decent price on it. But I would say the amount of material and labor in that, I would say $60 a chair.
Okay.
Okay.
Which, again, a niche market, right?
Yeah. But it depends on your market too. You may be able to get more value if it's
totally niche. So this is definitely Oriental to me. I was also thinking those chairs they put on a bleachers, but no one's going to carry that around. This is made out of bamboo. Yeah. This is definitely meant for Oriental, low profile, the dinner style that they do. So I would put this at probably 60. I wanted to say 40. I was going to say 25 when I first saw it, because I'm going, this has no value to me.
Yeah, that's the way I think that's the way we all took it. Yeah.
Yeah. Once we can see the market, and it's bamboo, higher quality, I would say $60.
Okay. I'm going to go 40. All right, Eric, go for it. We're seeing all your guesses in the chat.
Okay.
Good guesses. Good
the
guesses.
Answer is.
Oh, boy.
Wow. They must have a good way to market that.
I like it.
And they have sold a ton of them.
They position themselves very well. That just goes to show how little I understand the particular market they're going after.
Yep. Yeah, and that's
they have some good margins on that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Good for them. Was anybody close? Eric, you don't have to scroll through, but I'm just asking them. If you were close, good job. Maybe you have some knowledge.
I would wonder how they ship that. Do they ship it assembled or flat packed? Because that would have a big factor in the shipping price.
It was flat packed.
All right, good.
So over $200, and they don't even have to assemble it. Bingo.
Yeah. Isn't this interesting? Because now that just shifts our perspective. This is what I talk to people a lot about, and I know you teach this in your course, about thinking about cost and from the market's perspective. Is you go to the right market, the wrong market, I'm not even going to touch it because I don't see anything. But you hit the right market, it's worth $206.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the old saying of the riches are in the niches is accurate. You just need to have knowledge of that niche, and know how to access it, know what motivates them, and what they value, and you can it's kind of a gold mine. All right, Eric, let's move this along. What do we got? Ooh.
Okay, here's our next one. This is a cigar case, traveling cigar case. It is made out of curly walnuts. It is 10 inches by 5 inches by 1.5 inches thick, and it does have brass hinges.
Very cool. Very cool. Again, not hard to make. You've got not a lot of machine time in this.
Mm-hmm.
The hinges are honestly probably the hardest part here, just because it has such fine hardware. It's got magnets in it in the corners as well.
Probably customize the outside as well if you wanted.
Yeah, probably personalize it.
I would guess high on this because this is going for a market that likes the finer things, and I'm sure they have the money to spend it. I would say $350 to $400.
Ooh, Kyle's going aggressive. I love it.
I like that. That's so he's high end, but he's in the same bracket that I'm thinking, because my brother's a good cigar aficionado. This is like the awesome Christmas present that the wife can get for the husband who's smoking the cigars. So I was going to say $250 to $300, but I actually like Kyle's price better. But I'll stick with the $250 because that was my first guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's very like a figured walnut. It's like some Claro walnut, high end walnut. This isn't just.
Well, so this thing's got some other things to it too that really make it attractive. Number one, it's got the brass hinges, and so these types of hinges are nice and smooth. But it's got the earth magnet clamps, and that creates a tactile sensation of the quality behind it too. So you close, it has that snap close.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I'm going to bet Kyle's more on target.
All right, I'm going to go just to go the opposite direction. I'm going to go 199. I mean, I definitely think you can get what Kyle's going for, but I think 199 is the sweet spot.
Okay, here we go. The cigar case is
$250.
Garrett dead on.
Nice. Garrett got it. What does Garrett win if he gets it?
We all say, "Hey, you got it, Garrett."
Good job, Garrett.
Yeah, just give me some congrats in the chat. Say, Garrett's got it.
Yeah. Tell everybody congrats, Garrett. He nailed it. And Eric can probably, if you give him a second here, he can give you a round of applause or something.
Okay, here we go. Round of applause.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes.
I didn't know we were in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah. You don't see that? They're all right.
That was recorded live. Okay, our next item is this bourbon barrel sign, obviously used for a wedding.
Yeah.
This is a 22-inch bourbon barrel sign. There's not much else to say about it.
It's made out of white oak, most likely. If you didn't know, all bourbon. Well, this could be a lot of different things, but we're in bourbon country.
This one is from Kentucky, so what you're saying is right.
It is. So all bourbon barrels are white oak. Yeah.
Every time I see Andy in person, he's always talking about bourbon. So this is in Andy's wheelhouse here.
It's like our heritage here in Kentucky is bourbon, horses, and
fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Kentucky.
One thing I would say, I think they're a little off-centered with their sign there. I see a little.
Yeah, you see that?
On one side and the other.
Yeah, they need to measure a little bit better and zero from the center.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts here? So this is a wedding decoration guest book type, table.
This is a legacy in the moment, high emotional value gift.
Mm-hmm.
So this can command a pretty high price from my perspective. I'm going to say on this one, $350 to $400. So I'm going to stick with let's go with $400 on this.
Okay.
This is a lifetime gift.
It is. And this is something that it is, it's one night on a table, but then they take it home and they put it up on a wall for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as there's no divorce.
Yeah. Then they take it down and burn it. No. We should laugh.
I love milling the barrel wood.
Yeah. I need to do more of it.
It's got such a good smell when you get, cutting on the burn side of it.
Yeah. I need to do more of it. I mean, Garrett, you're not far from me. Bourbon country down here. Like these barrel heads are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Kyle, what are your thoughts? What's your number that pops in your head?
Yeah, my first thought was sourcing the material. So you guys, I'm sure, would have a much easier way to source this than I would. So I would probably have to charge more for that extra sourcing fee.
Yeah.
And also this is a lot of material being removed from this. So this is probably several hours in this cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 500.
Ooh.
Hey.
All right. I'm going to go 279.
Okay. So in the area here, we can get barrels, these bourbon barrels. We can buy them, and you can buy them for this place here, $50 a barrel, the whole barrel with the lid in the base.
Yeah. You can get lids for $20,
yeah,
$10. If you buy like a bulk of them, you can get them for like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll ship you one, Kyle.
Thanks.
All right, Eric.
Okay, the retail price on this bourbon barrel sign is
$195.
Boy, Garrett, way out of the ballpark. This person's not making that much money on this.
No. And does that include shipping or not? Because that's a big item to ship.
No, the shipping was on top of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So my guess is they're getting this cheap. If they have, let's think about it, because this is we're in Kentucky here. If they're getting that material costs for less than $20, they have what you think 2 to 3 hours into machining. 2 hours by the time you set it up and everything. Do you think from beginning to end?
Yeah,
Depends on the machine, but
the good thing on this is they probably have it all dialed in.
Yeah. Well, not as Kyle pointed out, not really dialed in because they're a little off center, but
that's true.
But yeah, I think there is room, especially because this is, again, you think about it's the biggest night, one of the biggest nights of their life, and then it's not a one-time use. It doesn't get thrown away. This is going up on a wall, so I think anywhere from $250 to $500 is fair game.
Yeah, especially since we're in bourbon country, you can really hammer down on that. Right?
Yeah,
especially for the bourbon whatever you call them, bourbon lovers.
Yeah.
There are some bourbon lovers around here.
Yeah, they would be more likely the buyers of that. In my area, I might not find as many buyers as you guys would find.
True.
Just goes to show that region is another thing to think about whenever you're trying to come up with a product.
Yeah, great points. All right, well, guess what time it is? It is time for our giveaway. It's time for the Spindle Spin. All right, last chance to enter the giveaway. Hashtag ANDYBIRD builds in the chat. We'll enter you in. Eric is going to randomly pick one of you. It's going to come up on screen. And then you're going to picture yourself sitting here, coming like Price is Right style, walking down to spin the wheel. And again, the prizes we've got tonight, just so we're clear, if it lands on Andy, it's the CNC Side Hustle course. Garrett, we've got the Beast CNC router bit. And Kyle, we've got 1 month to his Vectric CNC community. Did I cover that good, guys?
Yep. And right. I just want to say, giving education away like that's gold. So folks, whoever's going to win those two, dive in, suck up the knowledge that these guys have to give. I mean it.
Sweet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Appreciate that. All right. Are we ready? We're ready to hit go?
I think we're ready to hit go. Let's get the
all right, here we go. Drum roll, please. We've got 174 entries.
Good.
And here we go. Who's it gonna be? Ooh.
Let's get it so close.
Stephen L. Stephen L., if you're in the house, let us know in the chat. Congratulations, because you got to be present to win. We'll give you 1 minute. Here, we're watching the clock. And Stephen, let us know that you're here, and we'll spin the wheel.
Yeah, congrats, Stephen.
Yeah, there he is. I see. Yes, I am here.
There he is. There he is.
Yep, all right, Stephen. All right. So picture this, your hand right here. This is your hand, Stephen. We're going to start it on all.
Do it, Stephen.
Here you go. Do
the motion.
You spin it, Stephen. All right. And let's see what Stephen's going to win.
Oh! All right, Stephen.
Congratulations, Stephen. You have won Kyle's giveaway gift. And Kyle, how can he contact you?
Yeah, just email info@learnyourcnc.com and just let us know you're the winner, and we'll get it up.
There you go. Eric is dropping that in the chat. So no one else email and say that you won. Kyle doesn't need 50 emails.
And if you do, he's just going to send you back the price to actually join.
Yeah, he's just going to send you a link.
I'm going to double it.
But Stephen, congratulations. Thank you for everybody for entering. Thank you to you guys for for being willing to, to have some fun and give away. Steven, you were so close to winning all. It literally went like this and came back. It was so close. Yeah, look at LOL. I almost had it all.
Almost had it all.
Nice. Super cool. Well, we don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. Like I said, Paul, our moderator, Paul from Bees Boards, is moderating in the background here. He's been with us all show and been queuing up questions for us. So we're going to get through as many as we possibly can in the time allowed here. And so let's head to rapid fire Q&A. All right, welcome to Rapid Fire Q&A. I'm going to stay out of the way. That rhymed. I didn't mean to. I'm going to stay out of the way tonight, and I'm just going to read the questions, and I'm going to let you guys answer them. So just to try to get through them the most we can, try to keep your answers concise, rapid fire style, and we'll see how many questions we got. You still have time to put questions in. If you have any questions for Garrett or Kyle, software, bits, CNC operating, anything, we've got literally decades of CNC experience in the house tonight. So get your questions in, and we'll do our best to answer them. All right, I'll read them, and I'll kind of direct you who's going to take it. All right. All right, Patrick asked, router bit is dull. You don't have a backup. How do you sharpen quickly, Garrett?
You don't. You don't sharpen quickly because you can't. First of all, you're dealing with carbide. You probably don't have the right tool to grind it. So either have a backup or switch over to a different bit.
All right. Crafty Jans, welcome. They ask, the keep out zones don't work for the rapid move to home after the toolpath is done. Is that correct? Kyle.
Okay, so keep out zones don't work after the rapid move to the home. Yeah, sometimes it does that. I always try to keep the keep out zones away from your home position because it does need to travel to there and to and from there. So try not to put a clamp where you start your machining from. Try to change the location of the zero or the location of your clamp.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. All right. Gary asked, is there a chart for speeds and feeds in different types of woods? Garrett.
Yeah. So there are charts out there. We particularly don't have one. At IDC Woodcraft, we have the IDC Woodcraft phone app that has that. And we have a certain variety of woods in there. And the feeds and speeds are calculated based on the Jenga values of the wood, based on a baseline that we've determined. So there are charts out there, but search them on Google. And the thing is, just remember, all CNC bits can be slightly different. So you want to start conservative and move up. So you want to have conservative feeds and speeds to start with. The IDC Woodcraft app is conservative.
Great. All right. Tim, do they make collets other than 1/8 and 1/4 inch? Garrett.
Yes. It all depends on what your collet nut can accommodate. So the bigger the nut, the bigger they can get. We can have them made to virtually any size we want, as long as it can fit within the collet nut.
Awesome. All right. Shop Rat asks, how do you know if the speed and feed is set correctly? Kyle.
Yeah, I can take that. Basically, it is tough when you first start. That's the most common question I hear a lot. People don't know feed and speeds. Garrett has a lot of great resources for that. Like he said, the app, it's a good place to start. And what I say, start a little conservative in the beginning, but try not to be too conservative. The number one killer of your bits is going to be heat, and the number one cause of heat is going too slow. So start a little slow, but not too slow, and slowly increase your feed rate as you get more comfortable. You don't want it making a lot of noise, and you don't want it producing smoke and very fine dust. You want to be getting chips, not dust.
Yeah. I got something to add to that really quick. I think Garrett and I might have talked about this in the last time you were on, Garrett. Typically, speeds and feeds don't break bits. What I mean by that is I think people think slower is better. But actually slower is worse. Talking about feed rate. So Garrett, you said it well earlier too about the ratio between speeds and feed, or between your speed and your feed, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to be spinning so fast and moving your feed rate moving really slow. That creates heat, creates problems, and your bit will eventually break because of heat, and it gets brittle. But one more thing on this real quick. Think of speeds and feeds in wood as a 6-lane highway. Okay. We're trying to, there's a range. There isn't an exact number. There is, but it doesn't matter. As long as we're within a range, right, in wood, we're going to be okay. Now, when you move up to machining metal, that 6-lane highway becomes a 2-lane road, and your margin for error is a lot less. So I think giving people the confidence, start and observe and adjust.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Wherever you buy your CNC bits, they should provide you with feed and speed data. If they don't provide that kind of information, I do not recommend buying from the company.
I agree. Yep. All right. Roger asks, what kind of router bits should be used if you want to cut ironwood?
You know what? I have to get a piece of ironwood to really dial that in. So with tooling like the IDC Woodcraft tooling, it's not built for ironwood. Ironwood is super, super hard, and we don't even have feeds and speeds for that because it's such rare wood. So I can't even actually answer that question. I'm going to be going into almost the metals feeds and speeds when we're getting into ironwood.
Yeah.
You need more torque. You need to dial it down. Ironwood is the hardest wood that's out there, folks.
All right.
Your speed needs to come way down. Your feed, it has to be dialed. I can't even give you the number. I've never worked.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing to consider too is it doesn't come down to just your bit. It comes down to machine rigidity. It comes down to spindle torque. It comes down to a lot of different things other than just the bit. The bit's just one ingredient in a whole line of ingredients.
Try hammering a nail into ironwood.
Can I pre-drill first?
Yeah, can I pre-drill first? Terry asks, can hitting one of your clamps do damage to your spindle bearings? Kyle, what are your thoughts?
I would say, of course, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it will, but if you hit it hard enough, you can do damage to all sorts of things. I've seen damages to the rails by crashes that were really hard. It can do damage. Another thing people don't realize is sometimes depends on if you have a auto tool changer, the cone that goes up into the spindle, people will blow the dust in there, and that dust actually will go into your bearings and cause wear. So you have to be careful if you have a auto tool changer not to blow any compressed air up into that. So anything can do damage, but you have to be careful. Funny
story real quick. We were filming a YouTube video the other day. If you don't know, we make YouTube videos. If you're new here, I got over almost 500 videos on YouTube now. Anyways, the other day we were trying to get a shot we were trying to break a bit intentionally. And we had the hardest time. I tried everything I knew how, and I could not break it. But I've broken bits pretty easily a lot of other times, but it was just funny. We talk about breaking bits all the time. Oh, I'm going to break a bit. I intentionally for 2 hours tried to break a bit and could not break it. I was trying to do it in an organic way, not take a hammer and beat break it off. So, yeah. All right. Next one. Here we got Neil. I'm cutting 20 millimeter PVC to make house name signs. I have a 6 millimeter bit. How fast can I cut and what depth?
So we're cutting PVC. I'm assuming you're going to be using an O-flute bit on this. How fast can you cut? So your RPMs generally are going to be
Lower, right?
Yeah, about maybe 12,000 RPM, 10 to 12, right? And your feed rate is going to be a bit higher. So higher than what you normally do. So we'll just say people generally start off with 70, 60 inches per minute on something like that. I would be working up to maybe 80 inches per minute on that.
Yeah, I think if I was, and again, this isn't hard and fast, so like don't quote me on this. But Garrett, what do you think? Like a recipe, something like this. I'd probably start 80 inches per minute, 12,000 RPMs.
That's a great start if you're working with a quarter inch.
Yeah.
If you're working with an 1/8 inch, I'd back it down by maybe 10 to 20 inches per minute.
Yeah.
Your depth of cut, quarter inch, maybe you can probably get up to a 1/2 inch depth on that, but you want to make sure you get those chips are coming out of that cut.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. You don't want them to melt back into the cut.
Cool. Next question.
Yeah. I do want to say something. PVC.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doesn't hold up well under sun. It'll start to get cracked and start to get brittle on you.
Okay. So consider the material you're using there for that use case, how it's going to be used. Great point. Eric says, I bought a CNC 3018 Jimitsu, and I'm looking for the best software to use to get started. Kyle, you want to take this one?
Depends on what software you look for. Are you looking for the CAD CAM software, which is basically your design and toolpath software? I would say Vectric is one of the better ones to go. I may be a little biased there, but I think we can all agree Vectric is really good at what it's for. So
yeah, and specifically, Kyle, on that, which one using a 3018? What software? Vectric software should he get?
3018. I think that's the smaller machine.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would start with a desktop version, specifically VCarve desktop. It's the lower price point. You can upgrade later if you need to, just for the price difference. But honestly, go on Vectric's website, download the free trial, and just try it out first. See if you like it. And if you don't like it, you can try another free trial of a different software. And that would be a good way to get started without investing any money. And then you can figure out what you like and then purchase that software and continue from there.
Yeah. One of the things I love about Vectric, we're all Vectric fans here. So, but I absolutely love that you can go download the trial and like you can test it out. Like, and there's no limit to it as far as like time length, is there?
Nope. No limit. The only limit is you can't make a custom project and cut it out. You can only use their official free trial project to test out, but you can still design any project you want.
Yeah. So it's just, you can't export it and cut it out, but you can still use it. You can still like get familiar with it. I think that's really cool.
You could spend a whole year on the free trial learning the software and then buy it when you're ready.
Yep.
But of course you won't be able to cut any projects out in that time.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Scott asked, are there current discounts to Kyle's course?
Yeah, I did respond to him in the chat. There's no current ones, but just a little hint, I would join our email list and keep an eye out for 4th of July. You might see something.
There you go. All right. Homie says, I don't get V-bits. There's so many kinds. When and why do you use one rather than the other? Kyle, go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, I actually made a V-bit chart. I have available on my website. It's probably not easy to find. I'll have to get a better link for that. But basically, my rule of thought is the smaller V-bit you're going to use on more detailed things. So like a 30-degree V-bit you would use on really fine, nice scroll letters or something, and very small font. Or if you're trying to carve like this big sign with really big graphics or something on it, that's when I would use a larger V-bit, even all the way up to 120, 150 degree V-bit. Mm-hmm. The most commonly used for me, 90 and 60 degree. Those are probably the two most common. If you have those two bits, you could do just about anything.
Yeah.
And 90 degree V-bit, if you can only pick one, that's what I would pick. You can do just about anything.
Cool. I do want to shamelessly plug the CNC Kickstart. There is a whole project dedicated to V carving, and there's side quest videos where I actually, at this board right here, I become teacher Andy, and I do a deep dive on V carving and explain how it works and what's happening. So if you missed the beginning of the show, the CNC Kickstart is coming out July 28th, and you can sign up the wait list. Eric will drop the wait list here in the chat somewhere so you know when it's coming out. But yeah, that's one of the projects that we do. Great stuff. We've got 4 questions left here, guys. You good? 4 questions? Yep. All right. Rebuild Repurpose says, looking to make outdoor address signs from cedar. What would you suggest using for protection from the elements and keep them looking new? Garrett?
Yeah, I like to use any of the urethane that is for marine purposes. It's a little more expensive, but it's built to tolerate a lot of abuse, environmental abuse.
Good. Yeah, I think it's important to remember too, like, the elements are harsh, and if you want it looking new, you're gonna have to refinish it. Eventually, maybe a year or 2 down the road. But if you want it looking nice and fresh, the sun's brutal. All right, Richard asked if I'm turning sawdust instead of chips, am I running too slow or too fast? Kyle.
You want the chips.
There you go.
For the feed rate. So what you're basically trying to do is the friction from the cut, you're trying to transfer that heat to the chip out of the cut and get that heat out of there. If you're making dust, you're probably going too slow, or maybe your RPMs are off and you're building too much heat. It could be the material though too. Some materials don't produce really good chips. So don't get too worried if you can't get those chips, but I would play around with those settings a little bit. Try to get a better chip that you can.
Cool.
Yeah, a good. Just want to add to that.
A
good RPM range to start with for most of your end mills or V bits is 12,000 to maybe 15,000, and start in that RPM range, and then you can dial your feeds up and down to accommodate that.
Rather than chasing both of them. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right. Miles asked, best way to finish with a different end mill after using the Badger or Beast? Garrett?
I guess that would be me, wouldn't it?
That would be you.
Yeah. Best way to finish with a different end mill. So I would generally go with the same size that you're using if the details of your project are going to allow for it. Meaning if you got real fine details, you're using the Beast 1/4 inch bit, but you got some really fine details in there, then I would come back in behind it with a 3/16 or an 1/8 inch diameter bit. So the biggest thing is your offset value. You generally want to offset maybe 0.04 to 0.06. And that is in the Vectric software, which we use, it's called an allowance. You set that number there for the roughing pass, and then come back in with your preferably the same size end mill down cutter.
Great.
And take away that allowance, so it would be no allowance.
Cool. This is the last one. Sam asked, what has been your highest ticket item sold? Interesting.
This one's for all of you, by the way.
Oh, you're throwing me in here. Okay. My highest ticket item sold was I made the letters SALT, salt, and they were life size. They were the letters were 6 feet tall, made them out of plywood, and they were boxed. Like it just wasn't cut out. They're actually 3D. You can see them from all different sides. And I have a video about that on my YouTube channel. I did a couple years ago. But that was probably, what they used that for was a conference. It was called the SALT Conference. And so they set these up at the entrance, and they were painted white, and people took pictures in front of them. So it was a conference thing that they use year after year. And that, I'm trying to remember what that project was. Like, that project was north of $5,000.
Oh,
yeah. But it's a completely custom one-time project, right? Yeah.
Yep. Mine was a plaque that I made for someone. It was made out of MDF. It was probably 30 wide by 38 tall, and milled it out, machined it out. A lot of lettering on it. The whole board was black, and then the lettering was silver. $700 for that.
Nice. Love it. Kyle, do you remember any of your? I know you haven't made and sold a ton.
I haven't sold a lot recently. I used to sell. My biggest thing was wholesale signs. So I sold in quantity a lot, but I would get $1,000 orders in one weekend and do that repeatedly.
Yeah.
But I would say my most memorable one-time project, it wasn't so much a high ticket. It was just a very profitable project and easy to make. It was a Harry Potter sign. It was pretty big. It was about 2 foot by 3 foot.
Yeah.
And it was customized to the person. And it was a free piece of MDF with oak veneer on it that I got from work. So
nice.
Completely free for the material. I just carved it, painted it, put a clear coat on it. Took me a couple hours to do the whole sign, and made $400. And that was back when I first started.
Love it.
I had my X-carve machine, and
yeah,
I was just very proud of that when I sold that, and I couldn't believe how much profit I made. Of course, there was time wrapped up in it, but
right. But
I was excited when I was first starting out there.
That's great. That's really cool. All right. Well, yeah, it's a great question. All right. Well, don't go anywhere yet. We've got a couple things to check off our list before we go. And the first thing I want to do before people go is just say, Garrett, thank you. I actually changed it, Eric. I changed it on him and didn't tell him. But no, I just want to make sure before people drop off here is, Garrett, where can people find you? Where do you want to direct people that are new to IDC Woodcraft, and where do you want to send them?
Yeah, so I'm educational, as most of you know, on YouTube. So you just look for IDC Woodcraft, and the CNC bits. Oops, the other side there. IDCWoodcraft.com. Email me, Garrett at IDCWoodcraft.com. It's pretty seamless. It's all together there.
Awesome.
By the way, whoever wins the piece, that's how you'll get hold of me, Garrett at IDCWoodcraft.com.
All right.
I'll tell you again in just a minute when you do spin your wheel. That's how you get hold of me.
Cool. All right. Kyle, go ahead and thank you for being here, man. I know your third live today. Jeez. You're a beast. You should name something called the Beast.
Yeah. I got to register that name before he does that.
There you go.
I'm gonna hurry up and make thebeast.com ready.
But where can people find you?
Best place, learnyourcnc.com. You can find all my links on there. At Learn Your CNC on all the social media platforms.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks again, guys, for being here. But real quick, too, we got to thank our channel members. We've got 13 channel members now that support us here. We put a lot into this show, and if you want to support us in this way, there's a button right below here, and you can get your name on the wall of channel members forever. We don't take this down. This is here. You can come back in 5 years and see your name up on the wall if you so please. But channel members currently are Johnny Gardner, Technotan Australia, David Mercer, Monte Jones, Aaron Newton, Earl Mahaffey. Our newest one is going to give me a run for my money here. Fernando, I'm not going to even try the middle name, but Aguilar. Thank you, Fernando. I just don't want to slaughter your middle name. Cody Elkins, Cody from Jenny Bits. Thank you so much for your support, man. That means so much to us. Net News Ledger, Roland Glidden, saw him in the chat. Randall Jenkins, Pineapple Barbecue and Woodworking's always here with us, and Bradley Custom Designs. Thank you guys for your support in that way. All right, guys, we made it. What are your final words? You got anything that we need to wrap up? Eric has something to say.
I think Garrett wants us to give away his bit, so he's really excited about that.
Let's give away your bit, Garrett.
Let's give away my bit.
Well, we don't need to spin.
Yeah.
We're just going to pick someone.
All right. See, I told you not to go anywhere. We were going to pick Garrett's bit. That sounds weird.
All right.
The winner is not Stephen L. But
Steven's not. So we're going to randomly pick.
Here we go.
We're going to randomly pick someone's name. You win the Beast. You will get it from IDC Woodcraft here. You got to be present to win. We're going to keep drawing until Wayne Burton. Are you in the house?
Wayne. All right, Wayne, let us know you're there.
Wayne. You got a minute, Wayne. While we're waiting for Wayne, do you guys, you got anything you want to share? You got anything?
Well, first of all, if Wayne is in the house, Wayne, you're going to have to email Garrett at idcwoodcraft.com. And in the subject line, say Andy's show winner, ANDYBIRD's winner show, whatever. So we know. And then we need your email, your name, phone number, what have you, so we can just take care of it from there.
Cool. Well, we're going to see here. Oh, Wayne's here.
There he is.
Wayne.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Wayne. Woo-hoo.
Awesome. You won the beast bit. Go ahead and email Garrett at idcwoodcraft.com and say Andy sent you.
Yeah, Andy sent me. I won on Andy's show. There you go.
There you go. Cool. Well, that's great. You know what? It's the season finale. People are still hanging on. Should I give away mine as well?
We can do it, man. We can do it.
Let's
spin.
do it. All right. So the CNC Side Hustle course, which is valued at $500, by the way. So we're going to pick one lucky winner. You got to be present to win. Season finale. We're going to go off with a bang here. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
Do. We're giving it all away tonight. Scott F. Scott F, if you're in the house, let us know. You just won the CNC Side Hustle course. And, of course, if you want to check out the CNC Side Hustle, there'll be links down below, but you can also go to the CNCSideHustle.com to check out the course there as well. Scott, let us know if you're in the house, and we'll get you set up for it. Kyle, are you going to go to sleep after this?
Long day.
I bet.
I'm getting on the road. I'm hitting on the road as soon as we get done here.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going up to Chicago?
Yep.
All right, man.
Got to be at something tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Anybody's at a rest stop between wherever Garrett is in Chicago, you might see Garrett.
There he is.
Scott, you're here. Congratulations, Scott. Email support at andybirdbuilds.com, and we will get you free access, completely free access to the CNC Side Hustle course. And I think that's a fitting way to end season 1, don't you think? Like the CNC Side Hustle show, we end by giving away the CNC Side Hustle course. I think that's fantastic.
And I really enjoy coming on your show.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I like the different things that you do. It's just a nice different style from what I do, and what other people do. So really enjoy it.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, it was successful. So we're going to successful first season. We committed to 10 episodes. We're like, we have no idea how this is going to go. No idea. And so we've been keeping notes all season and getting feedback. And so don't hold me to it, but you probably will see us back for season 2 in the fall. So
it's the same thing you got to do when you're that first CNCer. You just say, I'm going to make this product. I'm going to make this project no matter what. And you just bury your head down, man.
You just put it out there, see how it resonates, and then recalibrate. And that's literally what we're doing. So
exactly.
But we're aiming to make it bigger and better and keep momentum going and hopefully have you guys back for season 2.
Yep. Hey, I just want to say too, I didn't mention this. So we are having July 4th sale as well. So from the 1st to the 7th, we will be running a 15% off site-wide.
There you go. IDC Woodcraft, 15% off site-wide 4th of July sale. Starts on the 1st?
Yep. Cool. You got to jump in because we get wiped out of stock. Come to the end of the sale, people are going, how come you don't have this in stock? But
a
lot of stuff moves.
Right. Kyle, do you want to give us a sneak peek of yours, or are you going to wait for your 4th of July sale?
Actually, I don't have all the details yet, so just keep an eye I would say go to learnyourcnc.com, sign up for our email list, and you'll be the first to know.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for a great first season. Thank you to all our guests. But most of all, thank you to the viewers that show up every week. And I hope you're inspired. I hope you are motivated. I hope you realize the guest that I brought on here, it was very intentional. The guest that I brought on here is like, we all started with no experience at one time. And so we may be sitting here with years of experience now, but it didn't start that way. And we dealt with we went through the same struggles as everyone else. So hopefully you find that encouraging. And I know for a fact, every single guest I brought on the show creates products to help the CNCer be successful. And so that is what we're passionate about. That's what we're passionate about doing. So with that, I always end the show by saying, now go fire up the CNC and make something you're proud of. We'll see you next season.